Last we were talking about how Allah Azza wa Jal is describing the face of a certain people. Who do you think these people are gonna, where do you think these people are gonna end up? وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى. So good? Bad? Bad. Okay, so it's definitely not the direction we were headed in, right? So وجوه يومئذ خاشعة, we say that khushu' is what? What is the difference between khashya and khash'a? Khash'a, forgive me?
Like scared.
So scared that you're practically still, like almost numb. Yeah? So that's وجوه يومئذ خاشعة. And these are the faces. And then Allah Azza wa Jal describes them as عاملة ناصبة. You described عاملة as? Doing. These faces have done something, right? Okay. That means, by the way, that these are working faces. So wajhun amil means that this is a face of someone who's been toiling, who's been working, who's been overworked even. So what does that remind you of? Like a face of someone who's been like overworked. Maybe it reminds us of like our dad when he comes back from work. Or maybe like an image comes to mind of maybe a farmer that's been working all day, farming all day, his face covered in dust and whatnot. Or maybe like a coal miner, face covered in soot. Yeah, so that's wujuhun amila. This is a face of someone who's working. You think my nice, gentle hands resemble that of like a coal miner? Do these look like, yadan amila? Does this look like yadan amila?
Are you just trying to get a compliment?
No, this is me saying I'm clearly a pansy. Yeah, so like, my point is, we have like nice, gentle, dainty hands, and then when we go to the gym, we get calluses. We're like, what the schmack is that, right? Like, because we're not used to work, we're not used to overworking. Now, I want you to imagine, it's not your hands. Yeah, it's not your hands that are overworked. It's not your shoulders that has marks from all the things that you've been carrying. No. This is your face. Your face is so tired. Your face, you've been overworked so much that it literally shows on your face. Like if I just see you, I'm like, man, this guy has it rough. Right? وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة. What is ناصبة? Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, فإذا فرغت وإلى ربك forgive me. Now I have to say the whole surah. It's like the alphabet. I have to say the whole thing, otherwise I don't remember the ayah. Allahu Akbar. وإذا فرغت فانصب. What is ansab? Insab in that particular ayah, what does it mean? فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب.
أكيد مش يعني نصاب يعني.
لا مش يعني نصاب. لا يعني مش نصاب.
Let's ask Google.
I'll be faster than Google, I'll tell you that much. So, fansab means to stand up, rise. Yeah? Rise, stand up. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is asking the Prophet in that situation to do what? After you're done with all the affairs of mankind, what do? Rise. Rise to do what? At night. What is the Rasul doing at night? Rising? Praying, exactly. Now is that like a nice, gentle, like stroll? What do we know about the Rasul? He recited Qul huwa Allahu ahad, went back to sleep? What do we know about the Rasul? Long stretches. So, the Sahaba would stand beside him thinking they got what it takes. And quite literally, the Sahaba would say like, I stood until I couldn't feel my legs anymore. I stood until I couldn't stand my feet. It's almost like a competition. Oh, how long did you get with the Rasul? Oh, I got this far, I got that far, right? Because, it's long, hard, it's hard work. So, عاملة ناصبة means what? Faces that have been overworked. And nasiba means that they have been, in this task for quite a stretch. And not just that, nasiba means also to be high, and when you're high, you're wobbly. And so the Arab, what they would say is when someone is so tired that they're almost like wobbly. You ever had like such a long day that by the time you get to your bed, like you're not really walking straight anymore. right? Like you're just kind of like a bit dazed. That's what nasiba is. So wujuhun yawma'idhin khashi'a 'amilatun nasiba. One word that I didn't give any attention to, one word that I didn't give attention to was yawma'idhin. Wujuhun yawma'idhin. What does that mean? On that day, right? Yawma'idhin means on that day. Why say that? I mean, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ الْغَاشِيَةِ. And so we know we're talking about that. Why say, and on that day, you can just say, you know, their faces will be X, Y, Z. You don't have to say on that day. I just told you about the time. So you have a time, you have a place. Why am I mentioning time again? What does yawma idhin mean? It means especially on that day. It means especially on that day. Of all the days, of all the events that happen to us, there's one that really stands out. And there is one particular event where those faces, those particular faces will be especially tired. Will be especially fainting, if you will. وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ خَاشِعَةٌ عَامِلَةٌ نَاصِبَةٌ تَصْلَى نَارًا حَامِيَةً. And in another قراءة تُصْلَى نَارًا حَامِيَةً. What does that mean? What's tasla? Huh? Technically you're seeking out. I want you to imagine there's a fire, there's a flame. Yeah? What do you do when you sense there's a flame? Like if I was to put a lighter right beside your hands right now, what would you do? Even if your eyes were closed.
Can I feel it?
Yeah, of course.
Freak out.
Freak out and like move your hands out, right? And now you tell me, when you do that, when you like recoil, you grab your hands and you just yank it. Now tell me, were you thinking, I wonder if I move it 4 centimeters to the back, you know, that's probably enough distance. Is that what you do? No. No, it's a reflex. It's literally like you want nothing to do with that. And you recoil with all of your might. Every muscle is tensing at that moment. It's just like, you know, fight or flight. So, I want you to imagine, there are some people, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying it, so it's true. There are some people that on the day of judgment, now fire is a flames, my little dinky little dollar store lighter is gonna burn, but Jahannam, you know, it's a couple of levels above that, yeah? So I want you to imagine, there will be people that will feel heat and they will feel the fire, and their instinct, how they recoil is to do what? Jump backwards? Tasla is a form of verb. It means I am the one participating. I am the one doing the work. Not that something's happening to me. No, no, no. It means I am doing something. Now what are they doing? You tell me. What do you think is happening in this ayah? They feel fire, and instead of recoiling back, they go towards the fire. And they go. Not that the fire comes to them. Not that someone puts the fire onto them. No, no, no. On that day, almost as if a final cherry, the most humiliating thing is that they will seek out that fire. Allahumma la taj'alna minhum ya Rabb. That's what happened on that day. Quite literally, they seek out that fire. Now, thus far, I'm giving you an example of what? My hands, yeah? Would you do that with your face? وجوه يومئذ خاشعة احذر حبيبي وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية. What تصلى? What's doing the action? The faces. Bro, we're talking, like there's a fire. There's Jahannam fire even. Like not little dinky dollar store lighter, yeah? Jahannam fire. And you feel the heat and they go, huh, that's insane. عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية. What does حامية mean?
Really hot.
Very hot. Excellent. Excellent. What does you, because you know Egyptian, أحميك يعني إيه?
يعني
أنقذك, help you, save you, protect you, put like a barrier between you and something else. That's what hima. Hima in Arabic would mean the area where someone is. right? And so if someone would enter your hima, that means they've basically penetrated your barriers, if you will, right? Your fences. So things that keep other things out. Naran hamia is very hot, but it also is what? It's made in such a way that when you're in it, it grasps you, it keeps you. It doesn't allow you to leave. It doesn't allow you to just escape. Right? تَصْلَى نَارًا حَامِيَةً. This is the wujuh literally getting themselves right there. تَصْلَى نَارًا حَامِيَةً تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. What is the siqaya? Anybody know?
Oh, they're drinking fire.
Drinking. Now, تسقى وأيضا تسقى in another قراءة. تسقى وتسقى. تسقى means what? Who's doing the action? Someone is doing the action to you this time. In another qira'ah, in another reading of the Quran, I can't remember which one. I don't believe it's Warsh. I don't know. One of them is tasqa. So what is tasqa? What's the difference between tasqa and tusqa?
She does it and they do it.
Precisely. That's exactly it. You're right. And so one tusqa means it's happening to you. Tasqa, you're the one doing it. Right? Allahumma la taj'alna minhum. I shouldn't say you, not you. And so, boy, he's in another world right now. At least he's happy. So, تسقى من عين آنية. What does ayn mean? Eye, yes. But the Arabs, تفضلي. Stream, sure. Yes, excellent. River, sources of water. Sources of water. The Arab would call anything beautiful ayn. They would call their camels ayn. They would call their wives ayn. They would call their, I shouldn't have put those two side by side. But just the examples that popped in my head. They would call basically anything they found to be beautiful as ayn. Because I want you to imagine, you're in the desert, and I'm describing to you, hey, by the way, I know you're really thirsty and it's hot and it's just, but imagine with me, there's like a place filled with water, cool water. You're gonna like that, yeah? So that's what ayn is. That's literally what ayn is. And so it makes sense that Arabs would call anything that produced water, that produced cooling, I should say, water, as ayn. Right? Now, I, as a reader, I hear, تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ. Oh, nice. We just talked about fire, the opposite of fire. I could use a little bit of cooling right now. Right? I could use a little bit of cooling right now. And so, we just talked about how the fire is there, and then people gravitate towards the fire. I don't want any of that. So we hear تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. We think, maybe some reprieve. Maybe we get a chance. Maybe there's a minute of break. Maybe we get a bit of silence, just something. And Allah Azza wa Jal strips it right away. تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. What is آنية? What is الآن? أحسنتم. Yes. الآن means now. What is al? The. So the now? Gotcha. So what is al-an? An means time. So al-an means the time, aka like this is the time. No time like now. Right? No time like the present. اتركها لو سمحت. تريد أن تقرأ؟ مرة كنت تقرأ. أحسنت. تسقى من عين آنية. Ania means what? And so far we're talking about time, yeah? Okay. What is the relationship between time and temperature? When I boil water, the minute I put it on the kettle, is it at boiling point? No, I gotta wait, don't I? Yeah? So I gotta wait, and it rises, and wait, and it rises, and wait, and it rises, until what? There's gonna be a point where it boils, and then after that, what's gonna happen? What's the point after that? It becomes gas, yeah? Vapor. So you can't exactly drink vapor. So there is a very particular time where it is still water, but it has reached the absolute apex of that heat curve. Yeah? That is ania. So when you say, make some tea, you say like, i'ni or ini. Like there's a lot of different beautiful, variations of those words depending on the culture and the tribe, etc., etc. I'm not gonna get into that. But basically, al-aniyah means water when it's at the absolute apex of heat, and it's still water. Before it's not water anymore. Now I tell you, تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. Tusqa means to give drink to, but it's not just that. So minor detail that we left out is that tusqa, as-siqaya, is generally speaking, meant for cattle, for animals. And what they do is, they quite literally put the spout of whatever it is that they're feeding directly in the mouth of the receiver. So with cattle, it's a sign of care, but with humans, it's usually a sign of generosity, right? Like I want to relieve you of all effort. So that makes sense when it's something nice, like cold water on a very, very hot summer day. Yeah, sure, why not? But when it's aniya, when the water is boiling, that is not generosity. So تُسْقَى مِنْ عَيْنٍ آنِيَةٍ. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِنْ ضَرِيعٍ. What does that mean? Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says, there is لَيْسَ لَهُمْ. That's how Allah Azza wa Jalla said it. That's not how generally speaking people speak in Arabic. What do they say? Huh? Maybe. So, لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِنْ ضَرِيعٍ. Anybody can switch the words around to make it sound natural? Like if I was to switch, you're saying basically, there is not to them any food but ضريع. That's really what you're saying. بلاش الله يكرمك سامحيني أنا آسف والله أنا آسف سامحيني. ضريع is their only food, exactly. So naturally you want to say ضريع is their only food, but instead what is said?
What's ضريع?
I'm going to get to that. Very good question. Very good question. But instead what was actually said? There is not to them, specifically, any food.
Nothing for them.
Allahu Akbar. So what does that mean? That means there's a slight difference. It's semantics, I get it. It's semantics. But it matters. Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, to these people, particularly these people. Am I about to say something nice? You just know from the way I said it. Right? To you, only you. Like, oh my God, that's so scary. Alright, so لَيْسَ لَهُمْ. First, it's you. It's all about you. It's not about the food. It's not about what you get to eat. You are in trouble, Missy. Right? And so that's what it's like, right? لَيْسَ لَهُمْ, like to these, and it's the other thing is like lahum. It's like these. I'm not even talking to them. I don't even want to look at them, right? That's the guys, of course. I don't want to look. I'm just kidding. So Allah is just not even directly speaking with them. When our parents, who love us very much and care for us so much, the way I love my child so much, and when he screams in the middle of the night, my love just swells up. And I feel so loving. Oh, I feel so loving towards him. And if I say, no, is he going like, yeah, he's going to give me some gifts, I'm coming. What happens? You're in trouble. So Allah Azza wa Jal, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. He says, لَيْسَ لَهُمْ, to these people particularly, and I don't even want to talk to them. When your parents are so mad at you, they won't even talk to you. Like they're telling you to do things, but like in a different, like he's gonna go clean his room now. Okay, message well received. I'm gonna go clean so I don't die. I need to make it tomorrow because I have homework to give. So Allah is literally saying, like, I'm not even going to talk to these people. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ, to these people, to them, these guys, these particular guys, لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ, they don't get to eat anything. Except, and you're like, okay, maybe they do get to eat. Maybe we get something. إِلَّا مِنْ ضَرِيعٍ. What's ضَرِيعٍ? You asked. Not quite. But I mean, nothing would probably be better, if I'm honest. ضَرِيعٍ is a type of cactus. Matter of fact, all the food of Jahannam, that we hear about in the Quran, they say are mushtaq, are subcategories of this dariya. Every type of evil fruit of Jahannam, if you will, comes from this plant. Dariya is actually a real thing in the Arabic Sahara, and you had something?
I was just going to say you have to delicacy in some countries, isn't it? Really? Yeah, people eat cactus. Yeah, but not because, okay, but imagine just a raw cactus. Yeah, but they have fire and stuff. Yeah, no, okay, but that's not how that works.
They can construct tools. I'm just kidding. So, a-dariya is a type of cactus, and it is so... لا مش عارف والله مش عارف هو نوع من انواع الصبار بس انا يعني ما اعرفوش كويس. الضريع is a type of plant that is so spiky, right, so prickly, that practically the only animal on this planet that eats the fruit of this plant are, Allah Akbar, who said that? Sahih, camels. Camels are the only creature, basically, that can withstand the prickles of this fruit, of this plant, if you will, to get to the fruit. Because camels have very, very, very thick lips, and their teeth quite literally crush the spikes, right? And so, generally speaking, it's not something that any man wants. Nobody wants this, right? And Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِن ضَرِيعٍ. Like from that plant, they have to kind of get to and work their way through all that. I want you to imagine, you're already, when you have a cut, I mean like a paper cut. Paper cuts, they suck, yeah? Now put your paper cut in vinegar. How does that feel? Put your paper cut in fire. Put your paper cut in Jahannam fire. Now we're talking. Yeah? And so لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِن ضَرِيعٍ. You gotta get through this, and you get scratched, and you get maybe one comes close to your eye, and the other one man, this is rough. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ, and that's the only food. Their siqaya, what they get to drink, molten water, practically. Yeah? Their food. Go through spikes and get cut up to get what? This fruit. And so, when the mushrikeen, when the kuffar, they heard this, they started making fun of the Rasul ﷺ. All right, our camels eat this. We'll be fine. Look at our camels. They're nice and plump and thick. If they got it, we can handle it too. So Allah Azza wa Jalla reveals another ayah. لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع. You think this is a joke? No. You're going to go through this. And you will go through this. Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, you will go through this, and you will have suqya, like I mentioned, and you will actually go yourself towards this fruit, try to reach the fruit, and you will eat it, but you will get zero sustenance. You will get no sustenance. You look at the back, nutritional facts, zero everything, useless. Right? You will get nothing out of it. And guess what? You went there because you feel what? It will not satiate your hunger. So you keep eating it and you keep going through it. You feel nothing. So you're hungry. You're still hungry. Right? And so at the end of the day, why am I doing this? Why would a kafir that is doomed to this fate do this? The reason is Allah Azza wa Jalla is humiliating people that veer off the path. That's the reality. And so what we hear time and time again in the Quran is Allah Azza wa Jalla discussing Yawm al-Qiyamah, discussing that this day is no regular day. This is no regular day. It's nice to joke about, we joked a lot today, but it's dark. It really is dark, man. Right? Think of the worst thing you can imagine in this dunya, that's a cakewalk compared to that. But then Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't stop there. He continues on. Who knows the next ayah?
What was the ayah?
Wujuhun yawma idhin. I'll help you. Wujuhun yawma idhin. Na'ima. What's na'ima? Soft. Like my useless soft hands, yeah? That haven't worked a day in their life. So, that's what happens. On the other side, there is a flip side to this. Allah Azza wa Jalla is not masochistic. Allah Azza wa Jalla is not out here to get us. That's not the point. Allah Azza wa Jal is Rahim in the fact that He's telling us this. Why? He's saying, listen, this is the fate of those who veer off. You don't have to be like them. I'm giving you a chance right now. I'm telling you right now. It's not good, man. It's just not. Like, I know it's fun and giggles and I want to chill with my friends and I want to go do this and I want to, spend my time doing, I don't know, whatever it is that I want to spend my time doing, eat whatever I feel like eating. I want to go wherever I feel like. We all have this kind of like hedonistic inclination where we want to just do whatever we feel like. But Allah is just saying, listen man, I am Rahman Rahim. I'm telling you, I am Rahman Rahim. I want what's best for you. That is not what's best for you. Because this is the fate of those who are hedonistic. But, if you work a little bit, what's our life? What, 60? I'm going to live to 80? 100? Maybe? 150? What's 150 compared to infinity? Anybody who knows anything about math knows that's literally zero. Anything compared to infinity is nothing. Right? My whole life is nothing. My whole life is ghashiyah. My whole life is ghashiyah. Everything I've done means nothing, absolutely useless, except the things that allowed me to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, so I can be of those who are wujuhun yawma idhin na'ima. Their faces are calm. Wujuhun yawma idhin na'ima. لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع أو لا تسمع فيها لاغية. Right? All of this, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, these faces are, I'm sorry, it's just because of time. I'm so sorry. So all of this is descriptions of what? People who have it easy, very easy, incredibly easier than we've ever had it. Basically we all work, every one of us are just going to grow up and we're all going to work towards a particular goal for the dunya. We all work towards the dunya and the akhirah. But in the dunya, what do we want? We want nice peaceful lives. I want to have a nice villa, all my family around me. I want to have a nice pool. That's what we all want. We all want to have very similar things. We're not very different. It doesn't matter. You pluck a Muslim, you pluck a non-Muslim out of the population, they want the same thing more or less. Yeah? And so at the end of the day, we can have this in the dunya, but Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, whatever you have in this dunya, it's like 10 times more, infinite times more than you can ever imagine. This is the fate of those who do well. So if I want to do well, I need to have a plan. And I can't just sit here going, you know what, if I just stand still, I'm going to make it to Jannah. We will not. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Does that mean like I'm heading in the right direction? Whatever we do, we are losing. Whatever we do, we are losing. Because everything around us pushes us in a particular direction. وَالْعَصْرِ. By time, indeed, we're all in a state of loss. إِلَّا. There's an exception. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Those who believe, but it's not enough to just believe. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ. So here I'm telling you about al-ghashiyah, I'm telling you about all this, and I'm sure you all believe. And you know that this will happen. You know that one day I'm going to see this. So you believe. Excellent. Okay, I believe I'm going to get in Jannah. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. There has to be action. There has to be action. And I can't act when I don't plan. Right? You don't just like play bowling. All of a sudden, like close your eyes, open your eyes, I'm playing bowling. No, you got to plan. Hey guy, you want to go bowling? Yeah, okay. Like, let's check a Groupon, let's see if they have anything. Yeah. All this planning is happening for tiny little small things in dunya. Now, plan for akhirah. What's that like? We got to plan. I can't spend my whole summer, guys, I love you, I really do, and I've been in your shoes, wallahi I have been, but I can't spend my whole summer doing nothing. I can't spend my whole summer, quite literally, if I look back, what did I do in my summer to get me closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla so I'm not like that other group? I read Quran that one time. Not good enough. Wallahi not good enough. And worse, and this is the good case. This is the good case. Because God knows we all sin. And the temptations are all around us. You guys have it way worse than I did. I mean, I'm not that old, but man, like in my age, I did not have the temptations you guys did. Straight up, I'm worried for this guy. Genuinely, I am. No, wallahi, I really am. It's the kind of stuff that me and my wife talk about incessantly. What are we going to do when he grows up? Man, this is so much worse than when we grew up. Where they have this and they have that. Man, it's just like overwhelming. What I'm trying to say, guys, without planning, you will get to one destination and one destination only. Where do you think that destination is? My If we care, if we are truly afraid, then we do something. I don't want to be of those that tusqa naran hamiyad. La wallahi. I don't want to be of those people. Allah Azza wa Jal, through His mercy, is telling us, don't be like them, because that's how they end up. So there is a better way. The nice thing is Allah Azza wa Jal Rahman Rahim. The nice thing is Allah Azza wa Jal is Ghafurun, Tawwabun Ghafur. Yes? So it doesn't matter what we did, doesn't matter how big it is, doesn't matter how extreme it is, Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive if our niyyah is true. And so, we start by, astaghfirullah, I know I screwed up, this summer was a loss, I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. Let's plan. And only I can do that plan. Like, nobody's going to give you that plan and you're going to be like, yeah, your plan works. No. It's not going to work except for you. So you have to know what you want to do. Plan. Understand that there is an end. And be reminded of that because Allah Azza wa Jal mentions it a lot. So if Allah Azza wa Jal mentions it a lot, He's saying, think about it a lot. That's what it means, right? So I got to think about my akhirah, think about how I want to live my life so that I can end up in the direction that I want to be in, not in the other direction, right? So this is the most principal, most core thing. And we say every single prayer, we say Surah Al-Fatiha. What do we say? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. All of this beginning is, oh Allah Azza wa Jal, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're Rahim, you're this, you're that. And we only worship you. وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Every single prayer, at least 2 times. Every single prayer. That is the main thing, guys. اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ means, Allah, I'm doing my best. We're saying, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Nasta'in means, help me. Lend me a hand. I can't see that well. It's like that war scene that I was describing. It's just explosions from here and here. I'm discombobulated. I can't tell what's right from wrong. It's hard to know. Sometimes the line is so thin, I can't tell. But Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, ihdina as-sirata, please. Ya Rabb, ihdini. I want you to literally sit with Allah. Just sit with yourself, away from, peering eyes, and just have a moment with Allah Azza wa Jal. And read the Fatiha like you mean it. Just ask Allah Azza wa Jal for guidance. Because we are all, wallahi, we're all lost. Even, the most shaykh person you can think of, they're lost. Everybody is. And that's why we all say the same dua every single day. We all say the same dua. Allah Azza wa Jal, please show me the right path. Please. That's what we do, time and time and time again. So if I'm going to leave you with anything, it's that we need Allah Azza wa Jal to guide us to the straight path and allow us to stay on the right path. That's what we need, right? And on top of that, we need to remember that we say ihdina and not ihdini. I don't say ihdini as-sirat al-mustaqim. I say ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Nahnu, all of us. Yes? Why? Because this is a group activity. We do not get into Jannah on our own, and we certainly do not get into Jahannam on our own. The reality is, this whole dunya, it's a group project. And without the group, we fail. That's the main thing you need to remember. 1, I need hidayah. I need to know the right path. I need to not waste my time. I need to know exactly what I'm putting my time towards and plan towards what I need to do. And 2, I need to 100% help others so that when they are strong and I'm weak, they're helping me. Yeah? Make sense? Questions? I already am over. I'm very, very sorry.
Is it true that every Muslim eventually goes to heaven after they've received their punishment in hell?
It's a contentious point, but I'm going to say the majority of ulama say yes. The majority. But I want you to imagine I'm not going to say a night. I want you to imagine a night in camping in Algonquin and you forgot something, like I forgot my sleeping bag. That's it. That's all you forgot. You still have everything, huh? You got your food, you got your tent, you got everything. You just didn't get your sleeping bag. You sleep that night cold. I've experienced it. It's not fun. And so that night you're like, oh my God, this sucks. Now imagine, I'm not going to say a night in Jahannam. I'm going to say a second in Jahannam. Nobody wants even a second. So yes, some Muslims will get into Jahannam and then come back out. It's true. But the reality is, nobody wants to even have a second of that, or what I just described.
What's the hikmah of giving the fire people the dunya? What's the hikmah of giving fire people the dunya?
They're not given it. They seek it out, just like they also seek out the fire, if you recall. So what the Mufassir, what he was describing is that it's a form of humiliation to the kafir. So So that to that person who was insistent, because that's what it is, right? So we know what the wrong thing is, and we still insist on doing the thing. And so Allah Azza wa Jal is at least that's what that Mufassir was saying, is that Allah Azza wa Jal is humiliating them on the Day of Judgment. I don't know if that answers your question fully. Questions? How are you going to form your plans? You're free, by the way, free to go. But I'm going to ask it, just curious. How are you going to form your plans? How are you going to think? Live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn.
The learn part is important, but I agree with you.
Down and write, I'm going to do this.
Yes, 100%. Very good advice. That's sage advice. You can't sit down and project, yes, 3 years from now I'm going to be there. You can't. You have to do something. And so that's why in Surah Al-Asr, what does Allah say? وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. There's action, yeah? وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. These are the two last things that you need to keep going in the right direction is what? Tawasaw, keep giving advice. That means you're giving it out, but guess what? If others are following that same advice, what's happening? You're also getting advice. So is it easy for you to know if you're on the right path or not? Not really. Is it easy for you to notice when someone else is on the right path or not? Very much so. And so if we have this system where we tell each other, where we hold, like our friends, our true friends, our real friends, our friends that actually care about us, and tell us, brother, I think you might have missed that prayer. That's a true friend, man. And yeah, it doesn't feel great. I get it. It doesn't feel great. But that person, they just save you. That friend, you never leave them. That friend you keep forever. Right? Because they actually do care. And they had the courage. And it was, it's awkward. It is awkward. Giving advice is awkward. And giving advice, and thoughtful advice, is hard work. It's not easy. You're thinking, how do I say it in a way that doesn't offend them? How do I think, it's hard work. So someone took the effort to do that, and the courage to go through that awkwardness and still tell you, you do not leave that friend. You hold on to that friend for dear life. Yeah? And try to be that friend. Try to be that friend so that, others can have that as well. And that's what Allah Azza wa Jalla say, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Yeah? All right?
You're fasting, right?
I was.
You're fast.
Oh no, alhamdulillah, they gave me some time. Jazakallah khair. Allah yahmikum. One last thing actually. One of the nice things and we see this with Allah Azza wa Jal, is that Allah Azza wa Jal gives us kind of like bonus rounds. Where it's like, listen, it's a tough break out there, life is hard, here's Ashura. Anybody know what Ashura is, or the reason I'm fasting?
So like 1 year, like after the past year, like it's going to be forgiven.
Allahu Akbar. If your fast is forgiven, 1 day of fasting is equivalent to all of the sins of the previous year being erased. That's a bonus round if I've ever seen one. Right? So Allah Azza wa Jal He truly is trying to help. He's like, man, this is bad. Don't go in that direction. It's rough. And here, and I know you need it. Here, take this. Here's a booster pack. Here's a stem. Right? That's what it is.
Was the fasting, was that yesterday?
Wallahi, I don't know. If I'm completely honest, I don't know. But it's somewhere in the vicinity of Wednesday and Thursday. One of those days. So I decided I just fast it both. The highest level, that is accurate. That is accurate. But even the Rasul didn't do that.
مش عارفين ان كان الصيام في شوي مننا مش عارفين ان في صيام في اليومين اللي فاتوا. انا سمعت ان ممكن نصوم في يوم الجمعه اللي هو بكره.
لا اعرف. ما اعرفش. انا اسف. I'm so sorry. So Ashura, by the way, comes from the word 10, Ashara, right? And so Ashura is the 10th day. So 10th day is already past. If it's today, then it's past. If it was yesterday, then it's past. So either way, it's past. But remember this for next year. And then there's many bonus opportunities like this. Just keep them in mind. Jazakumullah khair. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Allah yahmikum ya Rabb. Thank you so much.